You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
Welcome. Alex Pardo here with episode 643, where I got my good friend Haim back on the podcast. Guys, we're going to keep this episode short, sweet, and just packed with a lot of good information. But first, I want to encourage you to make sure you listen to episode 642, where Haim and I just had a long, deep conversation and discussion about what drives happiness, joy, fulfillment, giving back, building community, and really the different seasons that Haim has been through in his life as an entrepreneur, from quitting his job to virtual wholesaler to high-end flipper. And then really now the season he's in, which is about legacy and giving back. And he's been able to do that because of the cash flow that he's generated. But before the cash flow, he put himself in a position to be able to make a lot of money. As a virtual wholesaler, Haim, what would you say your average profit per deal was when you were virtually wholesaling in 3 different markets?
Between $7,000 and $10,000 per deal.
Okay, so $7,000 to $10,000, and that'll provide the proper context. When you started doing high-end luxury flips in the Bay Area, what was your average profit per deal?
We're aiming for 6-figure deals, minimum $100,000, and sometimes it's reached $250,000, and I think the highest was like $314,000. That's
okay.
Kind of the highest profit on a flip.
$314,000, which would have required who knows how many, 30 plus 40 deals, wholesales to get to that one number?
And how much money to marketing and how much leads sorting and managing teams and KPIs and people quitting and training and managing and all of that. That's also coming to the pain formula. For me, it's not only KPI of numbers. I also measure my pain and discomfort and unhappiness just doing this stuff, which I didn't enjoy.
That's right. A mutual friend of ours, Rob Swanson, always talks about the headache factor. So whenever you're going to evaluate an opportunity of a business, whatever, whether it's coaching somebody or doing the next deal or whatever it is, never discount the importance of analyzing the potential headache factor. And are you willing to endure that because there's growth on the other side and it aligns with your goals and vision? Or is it just too much of a pain to even go through it and it's not worth the time, headache, and energy? So just as a quick aside, here's what I'd like to do, Haim, and this might be challenging, but we'll do our very best, is I'd love to leave people with either a thought, an action item, or maybe it's just inspiration. Maybe it's a combination of all those, depending on who's listening to this, as to how they can take what they're already doing and expand it, amplify it to generate more profit off of what they're already doing. And for some people, it might be a complete shift in direction. For you, you were virtually wholesaling in 3 different markets and you shifted models. You went from that to doing high-end luxury flips in 1 market. So for you, it was more alignment to just completely shift models and go in a different direction. You were working less, I think, because you weren't managing the team and having to do all the marketing. You still work because you're still managing contractors, but it's different, right? I don't think you were working nearly as much, but you were making 10x what you were making in your virtual wholesaling model. However, for some people, maybe they're virtually wholesaling, but they can start to make some shifts and tweaks to make more. Maybe it's a shift in market. Right? You talked about on the last episode how in Memphis, at the time you were doing it, the average profit was $7,000 to $10,000, whereas in Miami, our average profit was $18,000 to $24,000. So maybe it's a shift in the market. With that kind of being the groundwork for the conversation we're about to have, how can we start to get people to think bigger as far as not necessarily the number of deals they're doing, but the amount that they're extracting from each deal?
Yeah. First of all, know that it exists. You can make $100,000 on a deal that will take you almost the same amount of effort. And I can tell you even a secret, sometimes it's easier to move a $100,000 deal than a $5,000 crappy deal in the hood. I can tell you that for sure. So first of all, get inspired. And I can tell you also, there's less competition on bigger deals. There's less competition on a bigger deal because sometimes it just requires more skill set, just a higher skill set, or just different mindset. It's completely different mindset. And most people think small making $10,000 deals because that's what all the gurus taught us to do. Just chase the $10,000 deal. That's the minimum assignment that you should shoot for. Until I heard somebody, a good friend of mine, tell me, listen, if it's a not six-figure deal, I don't touch the deal. Boom. Mindset shift.
Say that again. Say that one more time because I think it's worth repeating.
So I have a friend that told me, listen, if there is no six-figure profit margin potential, I'm not doing the deal.
Wow.
And I start to, I need to listen more to this guy. I need to become friends with this guy. I need to start to see what this guy do. I need to find a way how I can add value to him so I can be closer to him and get inspired by him. Because he always told me, listen, six-figure deals. That was his keywords. Six-figure deals. If you don't do it again, I don't touch it. And he was laughing at me when I told him, listen, I just make a $10,000 deal. And I never saw the property. And I did everything virtually. It says $10,000. I don't even pick up the phone for $10,000. So
I love it.
So first of all, know that it exists. That's number one. And obviously, not every market you can do a single family residence, $100,000 profit. Obviously, in Memphis, when the ARV is 100, the median price point is 150. Very, very hard to do it unless somebody give it away their property.
Yeah.
In a market that is $1.5 million home, that's the entry level home in San Francisco. Yes, you can negotiate it, buying the property instead of $900,000, you make an offer for $800,000. It's the same way as making $100,000 when the seller is at 90. You just add another zero to the negotiation, and just think about it. It says yes, you just created a $100,000 profit for you. Mm-hmm. We're negotiating the same way that you're negotiating on a $10,000 increments, on a $1.5 million and up. You negotiate on $100,000 increments.
Right. And Haim, you know what comes to mind, dude, is I think it's really, really important that people, you said something that I think is so true. And I think I want to go slightly deeper on it, is you said, know that it exists. I had this conversation with my coach not too long ago, and he was like, people are constantly complaining about the fact that deals are harder to come by. And even the ones that have that mindset that are doing a ton of marketing are still struggling to get deals. And this is him talking to me. He goes, and yet I haven't done marketing in 6-7 months, and I got more deal flow than I've ever had in my life. And I said, okay. And I already knew what his answer was going to be, but I was like, what do you attribute that to? And he says, I have a belief that deals will come to me. Mm-hmm. And that's all the difference in the world. There's a direct correlation between how you think and what actually comes to you. And I think that ties in to what you're sharing, is that know that there's people out there doing 6-figure deals.
Yes.
They're just solving a bigger problem, or they're thinking about it a little bit differently. And then the other thing I'll share, and let me know if you have any thoughts on this as we start to kind of wind down here, is imagine if your friend came back to you now, the same friend that told you, hey, if it's not a 6-figure deal, I'm not even getting out of bed. I'm not touching it. Imagine if today he said, Haim, if it's not a 7-figure deal, I'm not even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you start to think? You start to think, well, you're expanding the thermostat. We all have a financial thermostat. And by him sharing that, he just popped up the degrees a little bit more in how you think. And imagine if you went out there and you and I challenged, the many people that are listening now, and we said, hey, it is your duty to do a 6-figure deal in the next 90 days. And let's say we're speaking to somebody who's used to making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a deal. Now, by challenging yourself, you have to ask yourself different questions. You have to tweak your approach. There's different things you have to do in order to hit a goal you've never hit, is the point.
You'll ask better questions. You'll get better revelations. Yeah. Right. And that's it. Again, ask yourself, how can I make a 6-figure deal in my market? And it can be going after, maybe if in your market, you are in a market that it's only the median price point is 150. How can you maybe going after multi-unit buildings? And that was your 2 to 20 unit buildings. That's your niche. And how do you now market to these people? How do you negotiate? Learn the pain points of people who own 15 unit properties in your market, because that's probably the value would be higher.
Yeah.
How can you add value to them and do a deals? You went, Alex, on a storage facilities, right? Maybe you just shift a little bit. I shift the market. Instead of being in 150 million price point, I moved to $1.5 million. That was the shift that I made to put myself in this position to close bigger deals. So you need to ask yourself, how can I make six-figure deals with my current situation, or what change I need to do to put myself in a situation that the opportunities for six-figure deals will present itself.
That's right. That's right. And on the last episode, Haim, you referenced the book, The Gap and the Gain by Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Well, I want to, since we plugged that book on the last one, Who Not How by the same authors. So not only is it asking, how can I do bigger deals, but who do I need to be connected with? Who do I need to collaborate with to put me in a position to do six-figure deals? Right. So we don't necessarily want to give you the answers on this podcast episode, but we want to just plant some seeds and get you thinking a little bit differently, because it's out there for you. And it can be a big shift in direction. Like in my case, going from a wholesaling business to storage. In Haim's case, going from virtual wholesaling to high-end fix and flips. Or it could be a tweak. Quick story, Haim, and then we'll wrap up the show. One of my biggest deals as a wholesaler was because we found a single family residence zoned in a multifamily area, and the buyer was going to change the use of that property. In other words, he was going to build. And so we provided enough value, and he was going to make a lot of money converting it from single family to multifamily. It was the same marketing, but now as a result of that, we started to target more single family homes that were zoned in this particular area. Yeah. And that led to a lot of high profitable deals. So sometimes it's just a slight tweak in your marketing or slight tweak in your thinking that can yield the bigger pops of income.
Yeah. So I'll give another idea of just people just to open their small houses on bigger lots, right? So I think this is what he said, just split the lot and sell the lot separately, because that's what people look at. They look, okay, if I'm in San Francisco and I want a bigger lot, that I can split the lot and create another lot that people will pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay it for it. So, okay, so now you need to learn zoning. You need to start to think, how can I research lots that in specific sites, in specific zip codes, and now I can offer much more money on these properties because people say there's a lot of competition. You know what we did? We paid always over asking because we knew we can add square footage to the house. So everybody were comping the house in 2-1, and we knew we can add another 400 square foot in the lower level to add another full bath and bathroom, and boom, we add another $500,000 value to the property. And we were just beating everybody. Because it was a crappy 2-1, and we in our eyes, we compete as a 3-2.
Oof. Dude, that is so good. That's a $100,000 tip right there. So guys, follow Haim on Facebook. I just threw it on the screen, facebook.com/HAIM as in Mary.MAMANE. And I will have this in the show notes. Here's what I'd love for you guys to do. If you heard the last show, you know how much we just enjoy helping people. So if Haim helped you with those tips that he just shared, and you go out, you take this information and you go do a big deal, let us know about it. That would be like the biggest way that you could kind of repay us, is just go use the information, go make a ton of money, and then just let us know about it. That would make our day, I'm sure. So 100%. Haim, so appreciate you, my friend, for delivering. And this is now the 4th time, by the way, that you've been on the podcast with this episode. So you're coming up closely on the record. I think 4, maybe 5 is the most someone's ever been on. So we'll have to get you the record at some point in the next year or so. Yeah. So
thanks for having me, Alex. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, my brother. Guys, appreciate you supporting the show. Make sure that you're subscribed so that you get notified every Monday and Thursday when new content, new episodes get released. With that being said, reach out to us on social media. Let us know if there's anything else we can do to help you in your world. And again, thank you so much, guys. Have an incredible day. All right, my friend, I hope you enjoyed that Flip Empire episode and got a lot of value out of it. Make sure to check the show notes page for any resources that were mentioned. And speaking of resources, honestly, I don't think I've done the best job of sharing with you my top curated, highly recommended tools and resources that I use in my business or have used in my business. In some cases, these are affiliate relationships with people that I highly trust and respect. And I know these tools and resources can help you and your business go to the next level. And as an ethical bribe, if you decide to try out one of these resources using my link, I will go ahead and send you an unadvertised bonus. I'll send you something of high value. All you got to do is shoot me an email, alex@flipempire.com. Go ahead and let me know that you that you tried out this resource, and however I can help you getting started with that, chances are that I know it very, very well and currently use it or have used it. So make sure to check that out, flipempire.com/resources. And if I can be of help or service to you in any way, just shoot me an email, alex@flipempire.com, and I will do anything I can for you. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the next show.